Hello everyone, this is Karen Dustin. Hope you all doing well. In today's video, I'll be talking about what it really means when someone keeps coming to mind. So, if you like the video related to manifest power, I would like to request you all please do subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, or give thumbs up so that I will come up with more and more videos with lots and lots of information. So here we begin. Let's go. What it really means when someone keeps coming to mind. Does it seems like a certain someone is constantly on your mind? Maybe you cannot stop thinking about him and it's driving you crazy. If you are looking for answers about what it means when someone is heavily on your mind or what you can do about it, I feel you as a self-proclaimed overthinker, I am prone to compulsive thought and nothing triggers this in me quite like love and romance. Whether I like it or not, I can easily find myself lost in a maze of thinking about someone, sometimes so much so that I can sleep, eat, or concentrate on other things. But after years of trying to keep my mind in check, I have also done a lot of research to understand some of the causes and triggers of this. And importantly, I have also found some really useful tools to take charge of my thoughts rather than be at the mercy of them. So in this video, I'll cover potential reason why someone keeps coming to mind, and if you want to, how you can stop thinking about them. So is it true that if you are thinking about someone, they are thinking about you too? I have seen this idea floating around, with some sources suggesting that someone comes to mind because they are also thinking about you. Who knows, maybe there is some psychic or telepathic truth to that. But how do you know if someone is thinking of you? Let's face it, the only definitive answer is to ask them. Otherwise, you are always just guessing, especially if this is someone you care about and hope is thinking of you too. There's more of a chance it's a wishful thinking. Usually, you thinking about somebody says far more about how you are feeling and thinking than it does about anything or anybody else. It's also probably not the best thing for your mental health to go down that route of wondering whether a person is thinking about you too, which can quickly lead to unhealthy obsessing. I really think that working out what's going on in your own head and heart is always the best place to start when looking for explanations. So when someone is always on your mind, what does it mean? The first one is they create a strong emotional response in you, whether it's love, a crush, or infatuation, or maybe it's opposite end of the spectrum, or you are feeling hurt, anger, and sadness towards someone. One thing is for sure, we human beings are instinctively emotionally driven creatures. Our thoughts and feelings are closely linked. Anything that generates a strong emotional trigger in you is likely to occupy your thinking. The same also goes for the other way around too. The more you think about something, it's going to impact the way you feel about it too. So we tend not to spend much time pondering things we don't really care about. That means there's a good chance this person is on your mind because you do care in some way about them, in some way, shape, or form. So the second part is you are attracted to them. Biology is powerful, it knows what's doing, and it's prepared to pump a powerful cocktail of hormones into you to make it happen. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. This idea of being lovesick is a familiar notion to us, but it's perhaps less about love and more about the chemical reaction happening in your body when you are feeling attraction. I know that doesn't sound quite as romantic. A strong attraction to someone is going to mean then that they are on your mind, so blame Mother Nature. The third part is what would a gifted advisor say? The sign above and below. In this video will give you a good idea of what it means when someone keeps coming to mind. Even so, it can be very worthwhile to speak to a highly intuitive person and get guidance from them so they can answer all sort of relationship questions and take away your doubts and worries, like are they really your soulmate? Are you meant to be with them if they keep coming to mind? I recently spoke to someone from psychic source after going through a running or a rough patch in my relationship. After being lost in my thought for so long, they gave me a unique insight into where my life was going, including who I was meant to be with. I was actually blown away by how kind, compassionate, and knowledgeable they were. The fourth part is your brain is trying to problem solve. There's a difference between rumination and mental problem solving, but sometimes the two can look quite similar, or you can say the similar. Often we need to think things through so that we can process how we feel and figure things out. Whenever something happens, it's naturally for the brain to try and understand what's going on. If he didn't text you when you thought he would, he suddenly went cold and it's giving you some mixed signal or a million and one potential things, your mind might slip into overthinking. The fifth part is you are romanticizing. Do perfect rom com style scenarios play out in your brain? Can you picture him down on one knee or envisage you two kissing in the rain? Do you find yourself drifting off into visualization about your future life together? The dog you will buy, the home you will live in, and the trips you will take together. Sounds like you could have a common case of overly romanticizing this person. Of course, you might be in love in a stage in your relationship where this is not just a fairy tale, but this also commonly happens during the beginning of or even before a romance too. Nothing has been tainted yet with the stark light of reality, so we are tempted to drift off into the soft glow of fantasy when we think about them. So it's natural, and most of us project onto a potential or a new partner in some way or another. We are guilty of wearing rose tinted glasses occasionally, but it becomes more problematic whenever it's taking over or is going to lead to unrealistic expectation further down the line. The sixth part, you're escaping. Anyone who has ever found themselves endlessly scrolling their social media feed when they really should be focusing on their tax return will tell you that the brain is hardwired to avoid discomfort and seek pleasure. When we are rewarded with a good feeling by any type of behavior, we start to form what's known as a compulsion loop. We repeat the behavior so we can be rewarded with another neurochemical hit of dopamine. So, if thinking of someone creates a good feeling, it's easy to see how we want to keep repeating that, especially when the alternative is something somewhat more mundane. So, it's a similar situation with daydreaming. As many as 96% of adults will engage in at least one episode of daydreaming a day. Daydreaming can be characterized as thinking of pleasure. So, of course, this works on the assumption that thinking or daydreaming about someone is bringing you pleasure. But what if it does not? There are occasions when we wish we could get somebody out of our head, but we can't seem to stop thinking about them. The seventh part, we recognize them. Want to know for certain what it means when someone keeps coming to mind? Could it be that they are the one and that's why you can't stop thinking about them? Let's face it, we can waste a lot of time and energy with people who ultimately we are not compatible with. Finding a soulmate is not exactly easy, but what if there was a way to remove all the guesswork? I have just stumbled upon a way to do this, a professional who can draw a sketch and who your soulmates look like. Even though I was a bit skeptical at first, my friend convinced me to try. So now I know exactly what he looks like. The crazy thing is that I recognize him right away. So that's all about the manifest power in this video. I hope you really loved it. I'll definitely come in the next video with my another content. Till then, God bless you. Bye bye and take care.